Welcome to SaaS Reality, a podcast where two budding founders talk about their businesses. Join Simon and Dean to find out what it really takes to build, launch, and run a SaaS product. Good morning, Dean.
Morning, Simon. We speak at last.
How are you? Yeah.
I'm okay. It's been a while, hasn't it?
Yeah, so we've had a couple of weeks off recording at this point.
Yeah, unfortunately, I had a bereavement in the family. So, yeah.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, podcast just on hold for last week, but we're back.
Cool. We're going to get straight back into it.
Yeah, well, there's lots of things to do still, but my product time is going to be limited, but at least I will be getting some things done.
Okay.
How much, I don't know, but family first.
Yeah, always family first. I guess if you can just push the needle ever so slightly forward, you're still going forward on the
That's it, yeah.
On the treadmill.
If I can get a couple of hours in every 2 or 3 days, then it's moving forward, it's making progress. It's not where I want it to be, but there's other things in life. So
yeah,
we'll see where we get to. Probably only going to be this next week is going to be tough with the funeral coming up. And after that, there's going to be sorting out the house and stuff, but that's going to be spread out over a few months.
Yeah, that takes forever.
Shouldn't impact things too much going forward. So, yeah. How about you?
Yeah, it's been good, really. I had a slow week on Automeli, and then I've had a bit of a better week on Automeli. So stuff has still been going forwards. I guess I basically finished the billing and everything that was stopping me getting it like publicly accessible, if that makes sense.
Right, yeah.
So billing is in place. I was kind of hoping to wait until Laravel Cashier had the Stripe CA stuff in, because it's coming in the next version.
Oh, right, okay.
And they've got some pull requests for it, but I think it just became an excuse just not to do it. So I've implemented the previous version. I'm sure the upgrade's not going to be too painful. So I'm online now. The billing works. You can sign up. You can use it.
You live?
I haven't really gone public. Yeah, I'm live. I haven't gone like with a big announcement. Still got like ironing out. There's not much documentation at the moment and stuff. So it's there. The other big news is I've submitted to be a Stripe partner.
Yes, I saw that.
So basically Stripe has like a marketplace of products that are built with them. Anyone can become a partner, but to become listed as a verified partner, you've got to pay a application fee. And talking to, I can't remember his name, but from justdunning.com, it's like a 2-week process where a Stripe developer comes in and checks your product and just checks that you're meeting their guidelines. They have some security guidelines and stuff. And then, yeah, hopefully I'll be listed on there. So it's sort of given me like 2 weeks to get the documentation sorted and stuff.
So do they inspect any of your code or just use the app?
I don't think they inspect the code, but I'm pretty sure they try and break your code in the sense of one of the requirements is like, for example, you check the signature on webhooks with connected apps.
Right.
So I'm sure that's very easy for them to send an event with a bad, header and verifying whether it got rejected or not. And, things like that. They basically want to make sure that you're not making people's Stripe Connect accounts vulnerable. So
the Stripe equivalent of pen testing your app.
So I think they create an account and stuff. So it'd be interesting to see how they actually go about testing, whether they have like a designated Stripe Connect test account or something. But
that'd be good. That'd be good to get listed. I think that's a really good move. That's just building the trust and it's proof, isn't it?
Then I can have on the homepage like a Stripe verified partner and it links off to the verification page. And
yeah, it's not social proof because it's not other people, but it's authority. You've been verified. So, yeah.
From who I've talked to, it's like, I think he said he gets maybe 4 or 5 leads a day.
Okay. So that's not to be sniffed at, is it?
And that's basically how Snapshooter is, because I'm listed on there as a community project, which isn't quite the same as like a verified partner, but like that's my main source of lead generation on Snapshooter. So
right, okay.
I just love marketplaces where you can bolt in. It's like, I guess that's the whole Shopify thing, isn't it? Loads of people capitalize on that in the beginning.
Yeah, that's right. Well, it's free marketing, isn't it? It's getting your thing in front of eyeballs without doing anything really.
Yeah. I mean, I did a lot of code.
Yeah, but you're not
marketing. Yeah,
you're not actively trying to shove Automeli in front of eyeballs. It's just there. So yeah,
been talking to developers and founders about Automeli recently. Just still trying to get its identity sorted at the moment, but I feel like it's making some progress.
Ah, cool.
I talked to Ben quite a lot from Art of Product.
Oh, right, okay.
Going back and forth. Kind of thought that Automalia would be quite useful for what he's been describing in the Art of Product podcast, where they've been doing a lot of things by hand.
Yeah.
So just a bit of back and forth. It turns out he actually listens to our podcast.
Oh, cool. Hi, Ben.
Yeah, so I think that's pretty much where I'm at. I've got a whole backlog of like little tickets of things to make Automalia easier to use. So we talked about previously the idea of templated workflows.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I've sort of changed my mind into having like a workflow wizard that you could use for creating your first ones, just because I do need to ask questions like, how long is your trial? Do you have like the free plans? Which are the plans you're trying to get people on? Like there are questions that need to be asked before I can actually build a workflow, for example. So I'm just going to build like a little wizard where you can just go, you can either build one by hand or you can use the wizard to basically template out most of one.
Okay, well, I might be trying that at the weekend if you're open to people signing up.
Yeah, the only thing is you've got to make sure your Stripe account is actually verified before you can connect.
I don't know whether
I mean, it's not a difficult thing to do. It's just because it's live mode, the account that you connect to has to also be live.
I think it is, actually.
Fair enough. I used to have the ability to connect test accounts, but it just got so complicated.
Yeah. I have been making some progress over the last couple of weeks in between things. And I've sort of got to the point now where I'm pulling in the data in the background. It's a bit hacky, a bit proof of concept-y. So all needs cleaning up. I mean, you'll have seen from my to-do list that we share, there's a lot of stuff in there. But the data's coming in. It's getting into the database. So I've been working on the registration and sign-up flow and adding cloud accounts into Cloud Insights. I'm getting there. So the next step is that I need to start pushing customers into Stripe. So
yeah, it's interesting to think about that in your sense. That's all fluff, isn't it, really? The sign up is just like, it has to be there. And then the importing of data isn't really your domain, is it? That's like the actual crunching of that data is where your IP is. So it's all just guff that you've got to do before you can get to the actual, the focus of it all.
It is. And I sort of started writing the analysis stuff. I thought, actually, I don't know what this is going to look like. I don't know what the output's going to look like.
Do you need to start there?
Yeah, I need to just start building the app and seeing how it all fits together. And I can crunch the numbers and output a nice bit of JSON and stuff, but how's it going to look? What am I trying to give to the customer? So I started doing a bit of UI stuff and I thought, well, let's just get the flow through. Let's get to see what the dashboard should look like and what I actually want to present to the user.
So when you talk to customers, what were they sort of asking in report? Are they after like an Excel sheet of all the pricings of everything? Are they after like they log in and there's a big red banner around like EC2 server 6 is using no resources, blah, blah, blah. Like
very, very top level stuff, actually. They just say, I want you to save money on my bill. Tell me what's not being used, what shouldn't be there.
Okay, so like when they go to the dashboard, I'm imagining it's just alerts of stuff that needs addressing. And then like you could go into reports. What you're emailing them is a big overview of like, here are the sinkholes in your AWS account.
Yeah, this is what we've looked at. These are what we think you should investigate further. This one over here definitely looks like it shouldn't be there because it hasn't got any tags. CPU's been at 1% for ever.
Okay. So it would be like a big to-do list for the company when they come in. It'd be like, well, these servers don't have tags, please fix. And it's like, or please register whether this server is okay or not. Like, if it's low resource, you just need to like clear that fault because it's not really a fault or it is something that needs to be addressed. Like,
yeah. And again, that's something that's in there is that you whitelist stuff that you know is running, but you need running because something might happen.
Oh, you need to get Zapier in there because that'd be amazing. If you could just be like, does this server need to go? Yes. Zapier message off, new ticket in Clubhouse or Jira. Like this server needs to go.
Yeah. It's on the roadmap, but
Yeah, I know.
Not even thinking that far ahead yet.
Yeah.
So, I mean, made progress. Just not as quick as I wanted, but it's interesting. You think you've got your app all worked out and what you want it to do. And then you start building the UI and the flows and everything. And it's like, okay, how do I handle this thing? And
it's a big learning exercise, isn't it? And then you get like every step of the way, you just like,
I mean,
your whole mental image of how it is just gets modified and changed. And sometimes you do big circles and come back to where you were, or you just end up somewhere miles off.
Yeah, usually I'll wireframe stuff out.
Yeah.
Because that's how we work in the day job as well. And I made the choice this time to just get the meat of it working and get a rough UI done. So I didn't do any wireframes or anything. And yeah, it's like, oh, right, okay, I've usually worked all this out and it's usually usually in front of me as a layout. But yeah, it's interesting. Yes, I've been busy on LinkedIn as well, still making friends on LinkedIn.
Oh, okay. Real friends.
Yeah. I had somebody on the SaaS Reality Slack actually ask me about LinkedIn and using it, prospecting and building an audience.
Was that Josh?
Yeah, Josh Ralph. Hi, Josh.
Mm-hmm.
Haven't got to the point yet where I'm trying to sell. I'm just building my audience. I mean, this is something that came to mind as well. And that in this SaaS world, the standard playbook is landing page up, collect email addresses, and that's your audience. And it's like, well, that's a break point in the funnel, isn't it? You've got to get traffic to that landing page. So where do you do that? How do you do that?
Would you say it starts there?
No, I wouldn't.
I mean, I've heard more people mention like starting on a social media platform, or am I just literally jumping to the chase of sure?
Yeah, you're cutting me off here. The landing page is where it narrows, isn't it? That's where you weed out those that really aren't interested. And again, the standard playbook is being tweet about it, Instagram it, Facebook it, whatever. Not much is said, I don't think, really about LinkedIn. For me, targeting AWS solution architects, LinkedIn is just an absolute goldmine.
Mm-hmm.
There's a closed group that you only get into once you've got a certification.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Goldmine.
Yeah, exactly. So just going through, slowly contacting people, having little chats, connecting up with them, not trying to sell, not even pushing any articles or anything. So this is just building my audience ready to put information in front of. And it'll be useful articles. That's where the blog comes in for Cloud Insights.
Mm-hmm.
Write blog posts, share an abridged version on LinkedIn with links back to the website. I'm sort of almost going to skip the mail sign up thing because I think it will just go straight into signing up to Cloud Insights by the time I'm there. The landing page still isn't done. So
yeah.
I don't know whether I'm even going to bother and just get it to the sign up stage.
Yeah. I kind of just get to the sign up and it's just like have a flag that says they can't actually log in, but like they've signed up.
Yeah. I'm getting close to that anyway, building the UI out. So
yeah.
Yeah, maybe do that.
Every so often I check on the list to see if anyone's come aboard.
So have you had anyone sign up to Automaily yet?
No, not yet, to be fair. Previously, in like the last 6 months, I had people sign up, but I know them and I know that some of them aren't in the market at all. So I shan't really be bothering to contact them or to get them on like a demo or whatever. But I did manage to get some demos booked a couple of weeks ago, and I gave one, and one unfortunately couldn't make it because his wife had a car crash before coming to the demo, apparently. So I just need to rearrange that. So I'm going to try and do a bit more of that. It's kind of just balancing between getting the documentation sorted, getting some niggly bits about the UI sorted. As while I'm writing the documentation, I'm going like end to end from registering to getting your workflow set up with like a test company. And I'm just noticing things that are just annoying me about how it works. So, and then there's other areas where it's just like there's no explanation of how it works. So, for example, when you write an email, you can use Liquid templating.
Yeah.
And there's no real help there to let them know kind of roughly what variables are available. I mean, it depends on how your Stripe customer looks, but there's things there that you can pluck off. So just need to improve the documentation and get some of it in line and just stuff like that. I'm kind of hoping that maybe a couple of people come on board and I can make these improvements with people. So, for example, we only handle 2 types of events at the moment, customer registering and a payment failure. And there's obviously loads more to do. It's just a case of what's more important, which direction to go in. Do I need to look at building hosted card payment pages? Or is that not as important? Do I need to be looking at cancel subscription events or,
Yeah, I would say anything that removes money from people's income is your target first.
There's still a lot in that sense. So, and then the other key thing I want to get sorted shortly is the Stripe payment SCA stuff. I want to get that nailed before September, and then potentially in August, absolutely slam the marketing on it. As in, like, here is a solution if you haven't got round to programming it. This will bolt on to your SaaS and just help you transition.
Yeah, that'll be ideal timing, won't it?
Yeah.
Really ideal timing. Yeah, that's a good strategy.
I'm sure there'll be plenty of people who don't get anywhere near it. When I log into Stripe, it tells me that all of my income is at risk of SCA.
Oh, no.
All of it. If I have to email every single one of the 200 customers and get them to verify their cards, I just know I'm going to churn. People are going to leave.
Yeah.
It's painful. Like, that's
my money.
I hope maybe that they've already, like, because they've previously paid, there's some sort of exception that can be called, but otherwise,
I think
there's just going to be churn. There's just, even if you just take the like couple of % churn you get per month.
I think there was something about historical payments that are running at the moment.
Yeah, maybe. There's a webinar coming up soon for it, so I think I might just jump on that because...
Yeah, I've got 2 or 3 articles bookmarked, and it'll be in one of those, so I'll check those out this week.
Yeah, I don't think the exception stuff is ready yet, though. When you look on their documentation, they say it's coming soon. I hope that's pre-September.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, imagine if you had 20,000 customers.
Well, yeah, can you imagine even just... Let's imagine every single one of those cards fail. You just know for a fact it's going to take... Like, some of my churn recovery stuff takes like 60 days.
Yeah.
So...
You've got some savings to cover the...
Well, I don't know, but maybe I'm just being sort of over dramatic and it's not going to be as bad as I think. It's just... I just worry on the subscription model. Like, from a point of view of like a shop selling stuff, it's a case of just fixing your payment form and you're away, and then making sure that if you redo a payment in the future, you just check with Stripe whether the payment does need verification.
I've got my registration flow done.
Yeah.
The UI is awful, but it's the standard Laravel stuff. So what I'll try and do this weekend is plug that into Stripe.
Yep.
And sign up for Automaily and see if I can start receiving webhooks.
Yeah, I mean...
Some workflows kicking in to say I've got new customers.
Oh, okay, yeah. Even if you just have it set up the Slack webhook, you could set it up to send the email for thanks for registering.
Yeah, because they'll all be my fake email addresses. So
yeah, I mean, as I say, you can't do it. It has to be the live Stripe, so you might want to be a little bit cautious with only doing that when it's public. Yeah,
it'll all be from tied down servers. So yeah.
Oh, okay. Can't see why that wouldn't work. Yeah.
So your plans this week then?
More documentation, and then I've got a few things that I've put in our shared Clubhouse account for just... The first thing I want to work on is text-based emails. So at the moment, it's like a template that has your header, which can either have your name or your logo, and then like a footer, but I just want to get a plain one in. Sometimes for the churn recovery, it's really good just to have like an email from that looks like the founder just typed it out.
Yeah.
I don't think that'd be too bad to do. That's just a flag on the email to say whether it's rich or plain. And then I want to start looking at that workflow wizard thing.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea to work on.
Yeah.
That's basically auto onboarding, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Because I think I could basically do about 4 different wizard types. So you have like the onboarding one, which is basically just sends a welcome email. Then there's a recovery for churn. Then there's one for billing reminders. So if you've subscribed and then just let them know before the end of the trial that their card's going to get billed tomorrow or whatever. And then and that kind of splits off to just email them if their trial ends and they didn't ever put a card in.
Mm-hmm.
So they should be pretty easy to, while they're not hard to program yourself, which might be quite nice and easy. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're not doing metered billing, are you?
Me, no.
Okay.
That's why I decided on tiers.
I haven't solved that on Automator yet. The monthly recurring revenue is kind of a bit of a mess with tiered plans.
Yeah, I heard your question on startups for the rest of us as well.
Oh, yeah.
Finally got to listen to that yesterday.
I'm sure they get lots and lots of questions and they record in batches, but I'd asked that quite a while ago. So I'd already sort of just taken to the option of having the 3 different plans and leaving it at that.
Yeah, I think they did a bonus one this week, didn't they? That released yesterday. It was Mike talking about Bluetick and his Gmail woes.
Oh, that I'm going to write up about that on Automator's blog. I mean, it was savage. It was great, yeah. It was like, basically, I don't know if it was, but it was like either you quit whining about it. Yeah, literally just your 2 options are get on with it or quit. for everything that's like blocking him. Now, admittedly, the issue with he's got a service that connects to your email through IMAP. Because he's connecting to people's Gmail accounts, you still need to go through a security audit with Google.
Yeah.
And he's eventually got all the way through that to the end where you've got to get a third-party security audit.
Yeah.
Which is expensive.
15 to 75K or something.
Yeah, I know. So, ouch. In that decision, I think he's emailed them to find out whether he really needs it. But I think they're probably just going to say yes. And then it's either do you carry on or do you stop? Because...
yeah, that episode's next on my dog walking list.
Yeah, it's definitely a good one. But they don't really talk about like the decision there. They talk maybe more about the decision of whether he should continue with Bluetick.
Right. Okay. I've met Mike at MicroConf. Really nice guy. And I sort of see how Bluetick could be valuable to people, but I don't really get it as a big thing, so...
That was kind of what was raised in the podcast.
Is it? Oh, right. Okay.
When it started, it was unique, but then because of the acceleration of everybody else and the fact that Fed himself had serious health problems in the last couple of years, the competition is basically accelerated past. So where does he stand in the market? It's a really interesting episode. But I just know for a fact if I started a product, if Stripe turned around and said to become a verified partner, there is a 15 to 75 grand cost. I wouldn't be approaching this topic with a barge pole.
No, it'd be, okay, bye.
Yeah, exactly. I'd like ultimately wouldn't exist if I knew that the barrier to entry was that high.
Yeah, it'd just be move on, do something else.
Yeah, no, I don't have enough funds to like mitigate that as a risk.
Yeah, also they're doing 15 to 75K audits now. Next year, it might be a 50K minimum.
Yeah, exactly.
And
it's just all that for, I guess he's in a situation where he's got customers, but for anyone new, you're entering a market that you don't know. You can't validate because you haven't got the security audits. So unless you're really well funded, how can you take that on?
Yeah, and he's on his own as well. So
yeah,
I know he gets contract developers in and stuff, but
yeah, I guess from a positive point of view, he knows that nobody else is really going to start in that marketplace now.
And this is true. Yeah, it's a high barrier to entry.
Yeah,
for sure. That's on my list.
Interesting. Who knows? They might do it with AWS.
They could well do, and I've already got a plan for that.
Have you? It could happen with Stripe, to be fair. I mean, I do have right access to your Stripe account.
Yeah.
Because I need to be able to do the reattempting charges. And I was hoping to also maybe change the metadata on a customer so you don't have to swap between platforms. I just wish with these things they had better permissioning. So you could say, connect to your Stripe, but I only want to be able to do this one action.
Yeah.
I have the same issue with SnapShooter and DigitalOcean. They don't have any permissioning. So it's either read access or read and write access.
Right.
And with write access, I could delete every server on someone's account.
Yeah, with Cloud Insights, it's all done through policies in the customer account.
That's true, yeah. I guess you can really have it tight then.
So if they don't want me to scan their S3 buckets or their Redshift clusters, then they just change the policy to suit and I don't get access. It's also 100% read-only as well. Okay. I don't really have any plans to write back anything. I'll just generate information for them to act on.
Okay.
And if worst comes to the worst and I have to do third-party audits for 10 grand, 20 grand, whatever, then I've got 2 other products on the back burner ready to go that are just CRUD-based things that don't rely on anyone else's APIs.
Yeah. Platform, lock-in or whatever. And
yeah. What I was going to ask actually with Automately, you got any plans for Paddle or Fast Spring or anything like that integration?
Not currently. I think Paddle does quite a few things to do with churn. However, I did talk to a customer that said they don't do anything to do with trials. It's kind of, that would be like year 3 plan.
Oh, right.
If we were looking at a project in that sense to integrate with other providers. If anything, I'd probably be looking to write a pure API implementation that you could then first and then integrate in with other providers in case, for example, you had your own payment solution.
Yeah, fair enough.
And I got other things I want to do before that, like behaviors driven stuff. So in the case of your product, you send a message to Automately saying that Stripe customer now has connected their AWS account successfully, because that would, for example, change the way you would email that customer during like a trial phase. So if you got to the end of your trial and the flag for whether they've connected their AWS account is still false, the email is completely different. You could email off and say, would you like an extension because you never connected your AWS account? They never receive value. So I think that's going to add like a whole new layer of power.
Going to keep you busy.
Oh, yeah. And a whole another layer of complexity. But yeah, like another feather in the hat for the... I can't think of the phrase now.
Another layer to the onion to add.
Yes. Yeah. Well, give the SaaS product owner more ways to personalize messages.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
Yeah. Do you reckon we should wrap it up about there?
Yep. I'll go away and try and do something.
Yep. I look forward to signing up to your landing page next week. And receiving an email from Automeli.
Yeah, maybe. This weekend's going to be a bit weird. Going to have more time available because obviously we did care for my wife's mum.
Yes.
That frees up quite a lot of time, which is being taken up elsewhere at the moment. But probably this weekend there'll be quite a bit more time available and I'll be sat there twiddling my thumbs thinking, I suppose I better do a landing page.
Thank you for listening to the SaaS Reality podcast. Why not head over to saasreality.com and be part of the community where you can join in the discussions. You can send us questions and comments to podcast@saasreality.com. And if you enjoyed our episode, we'd really appreciate some iTunes reviews. I don't think we've got any at the moment, so please leave some reviews. 5-star only. And we'll catch you all next week. Bye, Dean.
Bye, Simon.